Did you? I was wondering when you were saying the WhatsApp wali baat, no? Because when I went to Pakistan over the winter, I saw it for the first time. Like, because WhatsApp disinformation kitne aaram se phailti hai. Because it's that joke or meme or whatever it was. कि when we were kids and the internet was new, our parents told us not to believe anything we read on the internet, and now our parents believe everything on the internet. Like it's to the point where I saw people. There was a YouTube खुला हुआ था phone पे, and somebody was like, आप देखें ये report आई हुई है, American general कह रहा है कि पाकिस्तान के मिसाइल्स इतने advanced हो गए हैं कि अमेरिका तक पहुंच सकते हैं. And report जो थी, that was basically text written in the thumbnail of a YouTube video. Like the video wasn't even playing, and it was just that was written, and that was, and it's like, yeah, okay, that must be true.
Yeah.
Like I was shocked at how there was no concept of interrogating the data, kahan se aayi, validity, kuch hai hi nahi. So that's one thing. So one question from that would be, you know, maybe your friends are more tech savvy, they're perhaps more critical of this. Did you feel that their level of that, were they ek to part of this WhatsApp information gaining pool that the research looked at? And do you think this extends upwards? Because like maybe your friends aren't policymakers. Do the policymakers also look at these sort of sources which are not really connected to reality? एक तो ये सवाल. And दूसरा सवाल ये था कि did you ever get an answer for why the real reasons are not being discussed in mainstream news if the real reasons are known? या तो पता ही ना हो.
Yeah. So I mean, look, I'll take the second one first. Why are they not being discussed is because of various reasons. The key among them, at least, and this is my opinion, there's no research on this per se, is a mismatch of incentives.
Right.
Between the corporate media, number one, but also between the interest of the quote unquote political and non-political elite and the citizens on the other side. On the corporate media side, what are you gunning for? You're gunning for eyeballs, right? अब कल ही
Ratings.
मेरी किसी एक दोस्त से बात हो रही थी. You're gunning for ratings. I'm gunning for ratings as Pakistanomy too. Let's be
Sure,
honest, right?
sure.
But I have like 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
I go to my friend sent me another news channel, ठीक है, which does some of the stuff that you were just alluding to. उनके 2 million followers है, ठीक है. Now, if I get into the incentive mismatch of I need to make money from Pakistanomy, which I don't right now, so I'm okay with it. But let's assume I do. It's very easy for me to turn up the channel or turn up the volume on the kind of garbage that you were talking about to make that money, right? I would get 2 million subscribers, monetization ho jayegi, bade achhe paise,
Yeah.
mil jayenge from YouTube monetization. So that's the mismatch. It's on YouTube and it's on corporate media because you need eyeballs. On the citizen versus elite side, the incentive is mismatched because the entire status quo is a beneficiary of the status quo.
Yeah.
So it is in its very interest to continue to, in Urdu, like truck की बत्ती के पीछे लगा दें आपको, ताकि जो सिस्टम है वो कंटिन्यू करे. आप कभी समझे कि करप्शन मसला है, आप कभी समझें कि तारीती निज़ाम मसला होता तो मसला नहीं होता, आप कभी समझें कि ये इजराइल की साजिश है, मिसाइल हमने बना दिए तो अब वो हमें गिराने की सोच रहे हैं क्योंकि हमारे मिसाइल तो वहां तक पहुंचते हैं. तो वो आपको ट्रक की बत्ती के पीछे लगा देते हैं ताकि आप कुछ ना कुछ नया चूरन खाने लग जाएं और जो स्टेटस को है वो कंटिन्यू करें. सो आई थिंक दैट्स द आंसर टू द सेकंड क्वेश्चन. ऑन द फर्स्ट वन, I've seen like all sorts of people fall for WhatsApps. And in many ways, to your point that you said, like our parents, when we were growing up, would say कि तुम खराब हो जाओगे कंप्यूटर से और चैट कर रहे हो ये वो. In effect, they've become the victims of the very concern that they had, right? Especially, but it's across generations. I think misinformation TikTok पे भी भरी हुई है. All sorts of weird cuckoo stuff. So I think it's a common thing. In our culture, I would say we're more prone to some of this stuff because we're, in many ways, we're not a written society. We're more of a vocal society. So जब हम बचपन से बड़े होते हैं, I still think about the fact that, no one taught me or anybody when we went to the masjid for madrasa or for namaz or for the Jummah khutbah to ask the imam कि जो आप कह रहे हैं, जिसकी तशरीह आप कर रहे हैं, या आपने पढ़ी कहाँ से, उसकी सोर्स क्या है, या आप जो चीज कोट कर रहे हो कहते हैं इधर से आई है या सही बुखारी से आई है, कहीं से आई है. but we don't question them on their interpretation, right? वो तो एक तो वर्स है ना, उसकी इंटरप्रिटेशन कैसे की, कहाँ से आपने उसकी चेन ऑफ एनालिसिस किया है, भाई किसी ने तो किया होगा 1000 साल पहले एक एनालिसिस, फिर आपने उसको बिल्ड किया वगैरह, तो वो हम पूछते नहीं है. And that pervades.
In this thing, I've also seen this sort of like anti-intellectualism where the concept of पूछना is negative or somehow disrespectful.
We're not taught to ask you.
Yeah.
ये क्यों होता है, right? बच्चे, you know, if you just notice a normal child across culture, they will always ask what, why, how. But जब हम, मुझे I remember when we would ask why are things the way they are, चुप करो तुम्हें कुछ नहीं पता, right? And that pervades across society, right? And
Yeah.
that, ये वो उसमें classism भी आ जाता है, तो वो elites कहते हैं कि चुप कर यार, तू यारी क्या है, तुझे क्या पता, चुप हो जा, मंडी भाव दीन का है, चुप कर, मुझे पता है, right? So I think that's the basic thing. But overall, I think increasingly, because people are connected to the world, they're consuming more information, they see what's going on globally, and then they see what's going on within their own lives. I think that's the upside of WhatsApp and TikTok and YouTube and others. So people are hungry for that kind of information. Not at the same level as they should be, but I think it's made people realize that, hey, something else is going on here that we need to be paying attention to.
Yeah. It would be like a, gross misstatement to say that these things are only negative and they've only had adverse consequences, especially because just वो वाली बात के, if you think how would Pakistan में लोगों की mentality change वगैरह, before the internet, you just didn't have exposure to alternative anything, so, right? It was just Pakistan में ऐसे होता है, and that's all you see your whole life. TV पे भी आपको वही दिखाएंगे, बाहर आपने मुल्क से जाना नहीं है, it's expensive, बाहर से लोग तो आते नहीं है because हालात खराब हैं or whatever. But now with the internet in everybody's pocket, especially things like TikTok, which are so pervasive, and it's just like fun ideas, but वो वाली बात है ना कि अच्छा जी TikTok पे everyone's dancing in public. And that's like a very basic idea कि like पाकिस्तान में तो ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता. Perhaps कोई सोचेगा कि क्यों नहीं हो सकता, why are things the way they are, like it's a leap, but वो वाली बात है ना कि when you expand the probability over like tens of millions of people, तो वो छोटे छोटे statistical anomalies जो है वो they get realized.